So welcome back. We're going to continue working with evaluating algebraic expressions. Again, algebraic expressions are expressions that involve letters and numbers, and they also have what we call the order of operations involved. So we have to perform the order of operations with these expressions. Notice again, this time I have A is assigned a -4, B is assigned a 2, C is assigned a -5, and D is assigned a 6. So notice that these letters can have different values assigned to them. That's the cool thing about algebra, is you can determine what you want this letter to represent. So in this time we have these numbers, and so we're going to work a little bit now with those positive negative numbers. But these letters could also represent fractions and decimals if we wanted to. So I have 7 times A minus 4 times C. So I have 7 times A, which is a -4, minus 4 times C, which is a -5. So I'll replace the letters with the corresponding values, and now I'm ready to perform the order of operations. So I have multiplication I have to do first. So I have 7 times a -4, that's going to be a -28, minus then 4 times -5 would be a -20. And what we recognize now is, in this problem, we have two terms to look at. We have this -28, and we have this opposite of -20. So remember when we talk about terms, that word "and" implies addition. So we have this, and we have this. So we can rewrite this as -28, and then the opposite of a -20 is a +20. And then when we use our integer thinking, we have debt versus income. Since there's more debt, we're going to have to use our income to pay off some of our debt. So we end up with a subtraction problem, 28 minus 20, which is going to give me my 8. But I also got to pay attention, was there more debt or was it more positive, more income? And we did see that it was more negative, therefore our final answer has to stay negative. So the answer ends up being a -8. Our next example, we have 7 times c to the second power, or 7 times c squared. So 7 times, going to have this -5 as being squared. So we have to follow the order of operations. And we know that -5 times -5 is +25, so it's going to be 7 times 25. And 25 times 7, again, we can go 7 times 5 is 35, carry a 3, 14 plus 3 would be 175. Don't forget, you also can use our rectangular model to do multiplication. I can say 7 times, and I can go 20 and a 5 here, and I can kind of use what they call the distributive property. 7 times 20 would be 140, 7 times 5 would be 35, and we get up to 175 there. So I also could multiply using that format as well. So our answer ends up being then 175. Now say I could just count by 25s, and you would have 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175. So yeah, you can also just count by 25s there. Number 3, we have this expression b squared minus 4ac. You'll actually see this quite often in algebra. This is called the discriminant. Later on you'll come across that in our math. That's called the discriminant. But right now, this is just going to be an algebraic expression to us. So b squared, we replace the b with the 2. We have 2 squared minus then 4 times a, which is a -4, times c, which is a -5. So we have to evaluate exponents. So that's going to be 4 minus then 4 times -4 times -5. Then we got to multiply. 4 times, well actually I'm going to go 4 times 5. That looks a little bit easier. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 4 is 80. So we should see 4 minus 80. And notice how a negative and negative make a +20. And 20 times 4 is 80. So there's 4 minus 80. And notice again how we have two terms. We have a 4 and we have a negative 80. So that tells me that I have income and debt. Since there's more debt, that answer is going to stay a negative, so it ends up being a negative 76 because the 4 is only going to take off $4 of debt, which means you're still going to be $76 in debt, or we just write that as a negative 76. Our next example, we have to replace the b with the 2. Again, remember reading this thing, these parentheses stand for the quantities. So it's b times the quantity a plus d. So we have 2 times the quantity, negative 4 plus 6. Or remember with addition, addition implies taking the sum of something. So we could say 2 times the sum of negative 4 and 6. Because remember, sum implies addition. So another way to read this would be to say 2 times the quantity of the sum of negative 4 and 6. So we do the parentheses, we have 2 times then 2, and 2 times 2 ended up being then 4. So that concludes that round of examples. Stay tuned.